Hello, now we will talk about the module aims and the linear outcome and the assessment. So for this module, we suppose the student will learn the different computational parallels and how to use the different computational paradigm in the different real world problems. So for example, we will talk about data structures, we'll talk about algorithms. Students will understand why the algorithm is so important and how the data algorithm and the data structures could reduce the complexity of the applications. And after that, we will also talk about the different computational algorithm be applied to the solution of the computer problems. So for example, we also will be talk about the main, the purpose, and the different programming the paradigms. So for example, the functional and the object-oriented design and the logic. And the linear outcome, we student will be understand, for example, how to use the different data structure, the list, the tree, and the graph to resolve the real-world problem. And then the student will be understanding the different programming, the paradigm. For example, we will talk about an object-oriented design. We use the Java and we use the Haskell for the functional, and we will use the Prolog as the logic. And for the assessment, we will be talk about have the first coursework 1, that will be the 30%. The coursework 2 we call the mini project, and the online questions will be the 20%. And because all the assessment currently is under the moderation, so you will be get the more details and will be published once the assignment have been the moderated. And this is the contents of this module. So for example, if you go to the main page of this module, you will be find the PDF file of the how we are going to talk about the different programming paradigm and the data structure and algorithm for this module. So this is the PDF file. And then you will find in the first 4 weeks, in the right side, we will talk about the algorithm, we'll talk about the complexity, people will understand that is a big O, and talk about the data structure, and talk about the algorithm. So this is the first part of this module. And the left side, we have the week 5, we have talk about functional programming. The functional programming currently, it is more and more important. For example, if you use the AWS, so for example, let me have a look. For example, I just go to the AWS and the functional, you will be find that currently the Lambda, the functionality provide the cloud computing, it is much more popular. So why the Amazon use the functionally to design the online cloud the computing? The reason it is very simple. Currently, because for example, when you build a startup the company, you don't know how much resources you are going to use. So maybe you will use the limited resources for the startup the business or the company. But when your business is expanded, we need to expand our the service. So in able to meet such the flexibility and adaptability, so currently the functionally the paradigm has been implemented into this the cloud computing. So as well as you can find that start from the latest Java version, the Java has also integrated the functional, the programming paradigm, as well as the modern function, the modern programming language, they also import the functional, the paradigm. In our module, we talk about the first and purely the functional programming. We call the Haskell. This will give you the knowledge and how the functionally the programming could be implemented and could be resolve the problem. The main purpose for the functional paradigm, you will find that, for example, the side effect or the pure, we call the pure function. And in the week 5, we will spend the 3 weeks to talk about such important the programming diagrams. This is quite important. And in the week 8 and the week 9, we will talk about the object-oriented programming the language. We use the very popular the Java programming. So I know some of you are familiar with the Python. So you can find that is no much quite the new knowledge when we talk about object-oriented the paradigm. So we talk about the very important, for example, the inheritance, the polymorphisms, and the abstraction. And if you learn the Python, you will get some ideas. And after that, we talk about the logic. The logic, the paradigm, why it is important is because currently this will become more and more popular in the artificial intelligence. So for example, when we create the machine learning, the application, the logic programming, for example, Prolog, will be resolve the problem such like, for example, I and Yong are very good friends, and Yong and the Chloe are very good friends. So this will be intended to say I and Chloe are good friends or not. So currently, this will become more important when people design the expert system, what we call the artificial intelligence system. And in the week 11, we just give us briefly the introduction of the concurrent the programming, as well as the maybe the teaching materials about the quantum the programming the paradigms. So this is all the lectures we are going to teach for our in this semester. So you can find that in this module, we are not limited to teach the student just the data structure or the algorithm, because we cannot cover all the algorithm. But we want to give the student the fundamentals. So for example, when you design a function in your programming language, for example, if you use the for loop, if you use the do while loop, so how do you judge this function or these 10 lines of code, the complexity? So this is what we need to learn in the first part. And after that, we will talk about different programming paradigms. I don't think so in the one semester we can teach you guys to understand all these 3 different programming language, and that is impossible. But we want to give the student to understanding currently in the programming paradigms, we not only has the object-oriented design, we have the other programming paradigms, and the other programming paradigms will become more and more popular in the future. So we are the master student. We need to understand has such knowledge just to meet the future requirement. So this is we are going to teach you guys for all the module. And I know everyone will be focused on the teaching assessment. For example, which programming language we are going to use for our assignment. And I can tell you, for the first assignment coursework, we are going to use the C. And for the last one, the mini project, you can choose any programming language. You can choose the Java, you can choose the Haskell, or you can choose the Prolog, or even you can choose the Python. So the more details and the description will be published once the assignment has been moderated. Okay, thank you.